Outside of beautiful Des Moines, Iowa, for the hour, we will be taking questions from the audience. And tonight, as the 2024 race heats up, President Trump and other Republican candidates are now crisscrossing the state. And of course, the former president has a commanding lead in both Iowa and nationally. The GOP field, though, is growing. Last week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis threw his hat in the ring, and soon we expect that former Vice President Mike Pence will be in. Anti-Trump zealot Chris Christie will join in. But can anyone close the gap? Let's talk about what I guess we're up to 9 people after next week.
That's a good thing, isn't it? I think pretty good. But I don't think it matters. I don't know why people are doing it. They're at 1%. Some are at 0. I hear Chris Christie's coming in. He was at 6% in New Jersey, which is, I love New Jersey, but 6% approval rating in New Jersey. What's the purpose? And he's polling at 0. And others are, I call him Ada Hutchinson. I don't call him Asa. I call him Ada Hutchinson. I gave him a little name for some reason, for certain reasons. But this guy, nobody knows who the hell he is. Never good. And some, it's fun.
Why does that name sound familiar? Y'all let me know in the comment section.
Fine, but I don't understand what they're doing. Now, maybe there's something wrong, but when you're at 1% or less, 1%, it says 1% with an arrow pointing left. There's one guy who's at 0 with an arrow pointing left. That means he's at less than 0. So it is what it is. I really go after the one who's second, and I think the one who's second is going down so much and so rapidly that I don't think he's going to be second that much longer. I think he's going to be third or fourth. He had a very bad day today. He got very angry at the press. You're not allowed to get angry at the press.
Let me.
At the fake news, he got angry.
So you probably became in history the most investigated.
That is interesting. And I'm sure there's a lot about it that I don't know. So you guys, I'm relying on you to inform me in the comment section, because I'm still an infant when it comes to, this political stuff. But why would anyone run when it's been so clear, crystal clear? Polls have shown that Trump has a commanding lead. I mean, what I would feel is insurmountable. I mean, he's unbeatable as far as the primaries go. He's unbeatable. He's that far ahead. Plus, you get, the people talking on social media, right? The only people, even then, because I said, I told you guys this the other day. It might have been actually yesterday. I went under one of DeSantis's posts on his page. And even his supporters were like, hey, we rock with you, but in 28, not in 24. Not in 24. That's DeSantis supporters on his page saying that. These aren't like Trump folks. Well, I guess there might have been, right? But you would assume those are all DeSantis supporters. Hey, I support you, DeSantis. I love what you're doing here in Florida. I would love to have you as president in 28, but it's Trump's turn. Like, there were so many comments that were a variation of that. Not exactly like that, but something along those lines. Yeah, 28 DeSantis, 24 Trump, something like that. But basically saying, no, we want Trump. And then you have all of these other folks, right? You got Trump, DeSantis, and then, everybody else. People polling at 1 to 5%. Like, what's the point of that? What am I missing? Do you have to run in order to be like a vice president? Are they running to? Actually, no, because I don't think Mike Pence did before, did he? I don't remember. That was before I was really paying attention to politics. But are they trying to pad their donations? Like, they're going to run, collect a bunch of donations and wait until 28. Like, they'll collect, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out a number. They'll collect $50 million this year or this election cycle, right? Add that to the 28 stockpile and really go after it in 28 with what they've collected now? Like, y'all let me know, because I'm confused. I'm really confused. I'm lost. Or do you think do you feel that they genuinely think that they could beat Trump? Are they that delusional? What am I missing is what I'm asking. What am I missing?
So you probably became in history the most investigated president of all time.
Times 10.
Okay. So,
Facts.
But if my poll numbers went down, it would all end. Every time my poll goes up, I say, oh, this is a problem. But we had a poll today that showed I was 44 points above number 2 and beating Biden by 11 points. Beating Biden by 11 points and beating Biden by 15 and 16 points in some of them. And he's not doing well against Biden.
let me ask you, because you are...
Because we can't take a chance of this election.
I think...
He's right. We can't. He's right on the polls. Not on the number. I didn't see those exact numbers, but here, I'll show you guys these polls here from Real Clear Politics. They have some polls here with Trump winning. Check these out. So here you go. Economist / YouGov has Biden +3. Quinnipiac, I believe that's how you pronounce it, has Biden +2. And then Yahoo has Biden +2. But then you have ABC, Trump +6. Marquette, Trump +5. Harvard, Trump +7. So, yes, you have some polls that say Biden wins. But look at the margins. Biden 4, Biden 2, Biden 2, and then you see Trump 6, Trump 5, Trump 7. You know what I mean? So, like, the margins, I want to know how they are conducting their surveys and where. Because you barely have Biden winning in all of these, and then the ones where Trump wins, he's winning big. You know what I mean? So, I'm sure Trump did probably see some polls where he was winning big, because as you guys saw there, those polls has Trump winning by a decent margin. So I just found that very interesting when I had brought that up. Like, what? Biden +2, but then Trump +7. What in the world? Like, that's outside of the margin of error. Typically, the margin of error is like 3 or 4 for a lot of polls. I think. So you got him 7 outside of that, but then you have Biden 2. Like, what? I don't know. Kind of confusing. But anyway, let's jump back into this town hall with Uncle Trump.
A lot of people agree with that. I don't think things have been as bad, turned so badly so quickly. The third issue is there's a special counsel that's appointed, and news broke yesterday that there might be a tape recording that, quote, where you acknowledge that you understood that these were classified documents. First of all, do you know who this call may be with? Do you know anything about it?
No, I don't know anything about it. All I know is this. Everything I did was right. We have the Presidential Records Act, which I abided by 100%. Biden has 1,850 boxes with a lot of classified stuff that he's not supposed to have in his case. I have the right to declassify as president. He's got 1,850 boxes that he doesn't want anyone to see. He had 7 or 8 boxes in Chinatown in Washington, D.C., where nobody even speaks English in Chinatown. Chinatown is it's in favor of China. And he has boxes in Chinatown. They took those boxes and they sent them to Boston to his lawyer, so his lawyer could look through them and probably do things that you're not supposed to do. No, this is about election. And in fact, I have to tell you, Dershowitz and a couple of very good guys wrote an article today. The Tobacco King, you know who the Tobacco King, he did a great job on the tobacco companies. They wrote an article today that this is a disgrace that they're even looking at this stuff. There was nothing done wrong, nothing whatsoever. Now look at the boxes with Biden, where they're in his garage, they're all over the floor, they're sitting under his Corvette with the grease and everything else, on a garage door that you could cut with a scissor, and no Secret Service. I have Secret Service all over the place. Mar-a-Lago is a fort. It's literally, she built that as the Southern White House. But when you look at it, and it's another, it's a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. It's a hoax. And it has to do more than anything else with trying to interfere with. And let me tell you, DOJ actually you talk about Bragg, the DA of New York. I never thought I'd be dealing with a guy like this. You talk about Bragg. The DOJ in Washington put his top guy into the DA's office, which is local, which is city, state. But they put the top guy in the Justice Department into that office to make sure Trump gets in trouble. Can you believe it? It's
Allegedly.
never, ever happened before. And then Hillary Clinton's lawyer from, I guess it's Paul Weiss, left Paul Weiss to work in the prosecutor's office because he hates Trump and he wants to get Trump. And then nobody wanted to do anything because they say, you know, Trump didn't do anything wrong, including Bragg originally said Trump didn't do anything wrong. And then he prosecutes for what he said was not wrong. But they took this guy, and they put him in there, and he left the firm and he went in. It's a big, Pomerantz, Mark Pomerantz, and he left to become a prosecutor. He was a Democrat lawyer, and now he's trying to prosecute me. And then what happened is they wouldn't do what he wanted to do because it was too bad even for them. So this guy left and he writes a book during the process. They tell me what he did is criminal. They tell me. Now let's see what happens. But he's in a lot of trouble. So here's a prosecutor left and he wrote a book during the prosecution. But I've been going through this for 7 years. Russia, all of it. The Mueller report, which was no collusion. After 2.5 years, there was no collusion with Russia. I was the worst thing.
He was right.
Putin would say, you know, they say you like me. He said, you are the worst guy that we've ever had to deal with. I'm the one that stopped the pipeline, the big pipeline going up to Germany. I stopped it. When Biden came in, it's called Nord Stream 2. When Nord Stream 2, nobody ever heard of it until I came along. I said, you're allowing Russia to build a pipeline through Europe? I stopped it. It was stopped dead. And then the election came about, and Biden came in. One of the first things he did was allow Russia to complete the pipeline. I had it stopped. And then they say, I'll tell you what, they're a party of disinformation. They'll say Trump is soft on Russia. I'm the hardest on Russia that there's ever been. The sanctions we did, everything else. And I got along with Putin.
Let me follow up.
And by the way, the hardest on China by a factor. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And as I said, no other president ever took in 10 cents. And you know what? China respected us. And President Xi respected your president. And he didn't want to have any more tariffs. And he didn't want to have any more sanctions. But he respected us. And now
Allegedly,
he doesn't respect. They don't even return phone calls.
You know, abortion now is back as a real campaign issue.
Yeah.
And then issues I didn't think when I started my radio career in 1987 I'd be talking a lot about, but education, kids, gender identity classes, CRT. I never thought we'd really have this deep debate about whether or not biological men could be playing in women's sports.
So crazy.
On all of these issues, you know, what is the best way that you see to settle?
Well, I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade. And by doing that, it put pro-lifers in a very strong negotiating position. Now they're negotiating different things. And, you know, I happen to be of the Ronald Reagan school in terms of exemptions where you have the life of the mother. And
Rape, incest, mother's life.
So you have that, and I think, you know, for me, that's something that works very well, and for probably 80, 85%. Because don't forget, we do have to win elections. But I did something that nobody could do.
True.
And I also made them the radicals because they are willing and able to kill babies in the 9th month. They're willing to kill babies. That's radical. Pro-life isn't radical. They've made pro-life radical, the other side. Pro-life is not radical. What's radical is killing a baby in the 8th month, the 7th month, the 9th month, or even the babies after the baby's born. And, you know, unfortunately, we have a lot of politicians, and you saw that in the midterms. I think it was a big factor that didn't really know how to talk about what we did with Roe v. Wade and what we did on pro-life. They didn't know how to talk about it. and it energized the Democrats, and they used that. I mean, they used that as a commercial. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, what should the
But
Republican
especially when you didn't have
be?
the exceptions. When you didn't have the exceptions, they went after the people like viciously. The ads, and those people did not, generally speaking, they didn't do very well in terms of election. But when you have the exceptions and you go through the whole gamut, it's something that's an incredible thing. But one thing it really did, though, Sean, is it gave people that are pro-life a great power to negotiate. We had no power to negotiate because you had Roe v. Wade sitting in there where you could do anything, where the other side could do anything. They can't do that right now. So we're in a great position to negotiate something really, really good. And most people, I think, really respect what we did. Now, I will say every once in a while I'll watch somebody say, I did more for abortion and abortion rights and pro-life. I did more than Trump. Well, only stupid people would say that because everyone said there was no way that Roe v. Wade was going to disappear. But because it was very unfair. The other thing is people wanted to bring it back to the states. I consider that less important, but nevertheless, a lot of people wanted to bring it back. This brings it back to the states.
So, man, a whole lot said there. Wow. Where do I even begin? Sheesh. I love that he didn't back away from, the whole abortion issue. I thought that was a great move for him, right? He was going to have to answer it directly at some point in time. Like I spoke about earlier, I don't understand why the other candidates are running still with his poll numbers being so good, especially in the primaries. So if you guys can answer that question for me, I would greatly appreciate it if anyone knows. And I love this Trump 2.0, if that's what you want to call it. Trump 2.0. Like, he's still Trump. He's still Trump. But it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's not like he's like he still calls people out. He still makes his jokes, but I don't know. Like it's more buttoned up, I guess. I don't know. It's like Trump 2.0, man. I'm loving it thus far. I think it's a great move. He's not giving the left any ammo to run with at all in any of these interviews. And I'm loving that. Absolutely loving it. They literally have nothing to go at this man for in terms of his interviews. Nothing. I mean, they could try to pull some stuff out of thin air, but in terms of, any real reason to go after him, they've got nothing. Nothing. And I love that he's doing that. Leaving them with nothing on the table. Nothing. I'm loving this Trump 2.0. But as always, I pose the question to you guys. How do you guys feel about this Trump 2.0? Do you think this is a 2.0? Or do you think this is the same old Trump? I think he's upgraded a little bit. Just from what I've been hearing, based on what I heard before, I think he's upgraded a little bit. In the CNN town hall he had, I forgot the question. I forgot what question he was asked in the CNN town hall, and it was perfect the way he answered it. Like, he didn't directly answer it. He kind of danced around it, like touched it a little bit and like quickly moved on to something else, just so he didn't give the Democrats any ammo to run with. Loved it. And it's the same sort of thing with these interviews, right? He's doing a fantastic job. Absolutely fantastic job. But like I said, how do you guys feel? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. It's right up over there. And check out that video too. If you enjoyed this one, keep things rolling. Click that video. Peace and love. I'm out.